Despite what you may think, I don't want to present this as a one-sided objective issue. I'm not a centrist coward by any stretch of the imagination, but in this video I'll first argue my perspective on the issue and why I think the schedule sucks balls. And then in the second half I'll play devil's advocate a little bit and discuss why maybe it's not an issue. Maybe we're just entitled and maybe we should go play something else while we wait. Also, I saw a comment on a video that said the Gummy shtick was cool at first, but now it's overdone. And I do listen to my fans, so today I will only mention Gummy 8 times instead of my usual 12. So sub and like for the effort, we're really close to 10k. So, it's no secret, Arknights' end schedule is as tragic as Gummy's life before marrying me. Ever since Eben Balls, it feels like the schedule has just been miserable. Events are shuffled around for no reason, like poor Dorothy, delayed like IS3, which should have come the first of this month, and in general it's really slow, like a sloth anime girl injected with elephant tranquilizers. It seems Yostar's one priority is having limited events fall at specific times and nothing else. It's also rare to have events running at once. For example, in CN, CCs often run in the last week of some limited events. Here, they are separate like my parents. There is also an insistence to add dead weeks for seemingly no reason. And I don't think I am the only one that thinks the gap between N and CN is getting wider. It doesn't help this schedule disaster is happening at the same time as the launch of one of the most anticipated gachas of the year, Star Rail. It also doesn't help that Star Rail is actually really good. I might be biased because I am a turn-based combat junkie, but I am liking it a lot so far. The writing is 6 billion times better than Arknights' will ever be, at least. Given, as soon as you finish the main story, Star Rail is also barren with content at the moment. But I am mentioning it because 1. Clickbait, and 2. Because this is possibly the worst moment to have a slow schedule. This is when you push out Texalter to compete. But I also understand why you wouldn't want such important events to compete with a juggernaut like Star Rail. People will cite the foresight of future operators as a good thing, but 6 to 7 months is way too much. It's a real headache for people trying to avoid spoilers, and it can be disheartening to see something really cool come out in CN and realize you won't see it for 6 months. For foresight and planning out, you'd need like 3 months at most. It can also lead to all content coming to N feeling stale, because at that point it's 6-month-old operators that have been already thoroughly explored and analyzed. It also creates a pretty big disconnect for the Northern Hemisphere, when you get Christmas skins in June and summer events in January. Another thing people cite very often is more time to save, which, objectively speaking, is true. You do have more time to save, but at the same time, it would be nice to have something to use that random on, you know? Instead of a f***ing steward login event for all the 0 people out there that like steward. There's got to be a limit to this more time to save. Picture this, dystopic future 2030, there is no second Gummy skin, there is no Gummy alter, and the schedule slowed down to a 1-year gap. Would that be better because in this dystopic future you have more time to save? It feels to me this point about saving up is misguided. The game gives plenty of resources to roll, and the rates are pretty decent compared to other gachas. Okay, but what about playing devil's advocate? Maybe we are just entitled. I've seen some people suggest that us complaining about the schedule are just entitled brats. And I do see where they are coming from. The game is free, and it keeps providing content for free. So who are we to demand anything of it? It's not like we paid money for it, like other disasters like Redfall. Really, the only thing that is fair to demand is a Gummy alter. And that's a good point, I think, but at the same time, when you advertise your game as a live service, a certain degree of expectations come from the fanbase, and there should be a limit to this as well. Just because something is free doesn't mean you can't point out issues it might have, or things you're displeased with. Recently, I am seeing a lot of complete brain rot takes that you should not criticize games at all, and that you should just be grateful you have the game at all. I feel like low standards like this will eventually lead to a singularity where everything is dog because no one expects anything of it. While I do see why we'd come off as entitled, I think there needs to be some level of expectations towards this game. You can also say, just play something else. And to that, I can't say anything. That's just plain true. I can go play something else while Yostar treats Arknights' schedule like Patrick's pet rock. Like Star Rail, for example. I could go simp Dollar Store Istina over there and wait for them to release Dollar Store Gummy too. And seeing other gachas thrive like this just makes me look back to Arknights and wish it did better too. That's ultimately the real issue. It's not that we don't have anything to play, it's not that we feel entitled, it's that we love this game and we want to see it thrive too. It's frustrating to see a game you like so much fumble at every turn with the schedule. At a moment like this, when the competition is really high to boot. I for sure know in my Discord server, which you should join, a lot of people are adding Star Rail to their gachas to play, including me. A schedule going at the same speed as Box 2's brain isn't thriving, it's stagnating. But what do you think? Is this really not an issue and I'm making a fuss over nothing? Or do I have a point for once in my life? Let me know in the comments below. That's all. Max out your Gummy. Bye.